For weeks, Felwinter and Felspring searched out Seraph bunkers, trying to find remnants of the technology that built a Golden Age utopia. One night, they camped in a Seraph bunker and spent hours poring over transcripts of old code. "This is weird," Felspring said, and projected a display of a long string of code. "Look, in the Golden Age, Rasputin executes a protocol called Siddhartha Golem. No idea what it is. Some kind of knowledge gathering. It gathers a bunch of transcripts, conversations with humans, recordings of music, a huge database of literature." She whirred, and the projection flipped through thousands of words of code, then stopped again. "Here, early Dark Age, a sub-mind in old Russia says Siddhartha Golem is active and gone rogue." Her voice dropped around the time I found you. Felwinter studied the code. It was almost like sight reading, not quite effortless, but like a native tongue he'd forgotten. "But what is Siddhartha Golem?" he murmured. Felspring zipped back and forth through the code, again at a nervous, stuttering pace, then stopped it, then scrolled through the code again, stopped, scrolled again, stopped. "Wait." Her voice quivered just a little. "See that? This is the first time Siddhartha Golem is mentioned. She paused, then went on quieter. "It says, initiate Siddhartha Golem. Upload at DSC 342. A beat. DSC. Felwinter." Felwinter was silent, thinking, uncomprehending. "DSC?" he asked quietly. "Deep Stone Crypt." She was almost whispering now. Siddhartha Golem was an exo. Felwinter looked down at himself, at his hands. He turned them over, studying the worn metal of his palms. The silence filled the bunker, nearly to bursting. To Felwinter, it felt like years, until either of them spoke again. The whole time, Felspring watched him, frozen in the air. "He's you," she whispered. Welcome back, Guardians. Most of you have probably already figured out. It's clear that Felwinter is, or was, Rasputin, and it's clear that Rasputin lost control of Felwinter somehow. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about and why I'm really excited by the idea of what Bungie have done with this Felwinter's storyline and why it's huge in a number of ways. I recently watched a video by My Name is Bife. Now, for those of you who don't know My Name is Bife, a lot of people refer to him as the Lore Daddy of Destiny 2. So I'll mention a few names and I will put their channels in the description under this video. But Bife was talking to another person about the idea that after looking at the available, some of the available cash shop items that are available to be bought, many of them are Braytech, or Braytech designed, or Braytech influenced. Why is this a big deal? Well, the question we have to ask ourselves is, why would there be Braytech technology in Eververse? Because as we know, Eververse usually is always, it signifies whatever the season's going to be about. Now, we know that we still, till this day, don't know much about Rasputin. We don't know much about how he was built, how he was made, where it came from. There's information, but nobody spoke about this, and I will be going over this in a separate video. I may either do an entire video on Rasputin himself or herself, or I might do a video on the war mines, because there are a lot of things that are explained that aren't explained, and I've picked up on so many things and I feel that I keep making notes. But back to my train of thought. So we know that in Eververse right now we are being sold Braytech or Rasputin influenced items. Okay, let's put that aside for a minute. We now have the initials DSC, and we know that that is talking about the Deep Stone Crypt. According to what we know so far from grimoires and lore cards, that is the birthplace of the Exos. We know that Cade 6 knows a lot about DSC. He has been there and has secrets about what went on and what was done to people or Exos. We know that Exos are always rebooted, and hence why they always have a number. So Cade has been rebooted 6 times. Banshee has been rebooted 44 times, and they do that in order to wipe the memories of the person so that they don't know or they can't reveal the secrets from Clovis Bray. Why is that important? Here's the second fact. When Cade 6 died in Forsaken, in one of his catches he mentioned a secret to do with the Deep Stone Crypt and something to do with the Long Slow Whisper. We don't know what that means. There's no identification as to what that is in the archives. There's nothing in the Ishtar Collective. There's nothing to show us what that secret is. We also know that Felwinter was obsessed with Siva. Now, Felwinter is Rasputin, and Rasputin had built an Exo in order to put himself into an Exo in order to understand humanity better, so that he could make sure that his protocols were in line with what needed to be done to help humanity or save humanity. And Felwinter was obsessed with Siva. Why is this a big deal? I think Siva is coming back in some way, shape or form. Now, why is this even of any relevance? It's of any relevance because it could literally be one major plot line in what's coming next for Destiny 2. And if this happens the way that I'm thinking it's going to happen, this could potentially be very big for us as Destiny 2 players. Now we know, according to what different interviews have been done with Bungie, we know that Destiny 2 is their way of telling the Destiny story all over again. So whilst there will be a lot of reference to Destiny 1, you could almost say in many ways we are going to relive some of the experiences that we've encountered in Destiny 1. Now don't get me wrong, from a player you're a little bit skeptical because you're not sure where that's going to go, but from a lore perspective that's actually really exciting, and here's why. If Siva's brought back, there's going to be a lot of implications to Rasputin, who he is, what he does, what his core functions are. We're probably going to hear a lot more about war mines in general, and there may be some more information, or we may end up being sent somewhere where there is more golden age technology. Now here's something that I want to point out. When Siva was being constructed, and there are tons of lore entries where you can read about the creation of Siva and how the original scientist who created Siva discovered that Siva was unstable. Nanomites that are able to construct large scale objects or small scale objects in a matter of seconds. They are programmable miniature robots that swarm like bees. That's probably the best way to describe them. And they were used in the Golden Age to build things instantly. Weapons, buildings, vehicles, and that's why the Golden Age was the Golden Age, because we were able to conjure anything in mere seconds. We only needed to program it and tell Siva what to do with the help of Rasputin. Now here's one thing that I want to do. Let's go back to Ares 1, when the Traveller first entered our solar system. Mankind had already designed an AI titled R. Now this was Rasputin, basically beta version. This was Rasputin 0.1, and Rasputin was already on a neural level compromised because he literally killed one of the members of I guess you could say, the first fire team. There was 4 of them, but then they ended up only being 3 of them. And I think that plays into why we have fire teams of 3 and not fire teams of 4 or 5. Anyway, Rasputin was unstable because he literally killed a person. Fast forward several years after the collapse, you have the Iron Lords, and the Iron Lords wanted to use Siva in order to help rebuild humanity. Now, it's not clear, but Lord Saladin says it's not Rasputin who's caused Siva to go berserk. Siva just went berserk by herself, which means, and if I'm right, according to the lore cards which I read, you can read them here, Siva was already imbalanced, and they were talking about building a failsafe switch in order for her to be killed if she went too far. Why is that important? It's important because it ties into the story and where we're at right now. So now we know that Felwinter is Rasputin, and Rasputin is often very unhinged. And even in this recent Felwinter's Lie quest, we know that Anna Bray is actually shocked about some of the things that Rasputin has done as somebody who is part of the Clovis Bray family. So I don't want to predict, but I really think that in this next season of Destiny, we will have a lot more to do with Braytech as a company, Rasputin, and also we will hear Siva mentioned a lot more. I don't think we've seen the last of Siva, and it's possible that Siva could be coming back, or there's other Sivas, because don't forget the War Minds are able to build essentially anything, so it wouldn't be too far-fetched for Rasputin to remake Siva and, you know, tell it to do what it needs to do. But now Rasputin doesn't have anybody who's in control of him. He's so elevated, he's so sentient now that he's his own law, and that's a scary thing. And I think that that's something that we're going to have to deal with, because we still don't know, is Rasputin really on our side, or is he just being advantageous like many characters in the Destiny universe? So that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have any comments or queries or suggestions, then definitely leave them in the comment below. Or if you want to just let me know that you understood this video, leave the word Siva in caps in the comments, and you can do that to show your allegiance to the idea of us getting like a Siva part 2 in Destiny. So that's going to be it. Stay blessed and Godspeed.